From the gateway to bourbon country in Louisville, Kentucky, welcome to the Firkin Podcast, where every drink tells a story. I'm Brian.
I'm Chris. What's going on, Brian?
Chris, dude, been building a website, man.
Dude, I know you tried to make me take pictures right before I went on vacation.
That's right, I did. I needed a good header image.
Yeah, so you go through and he was like, hey, send me a bunch of pictures, and he tries to tell me the idea through a text message.
I think I explained it quite well.
I'm reading it, I'm like, no, this makes any sense. Huh. And then he said, here, just look at this picture on our old webpage. And I was like, I'm sure I can come up with something. And I said pictures, and then he would come back. Instead of just like calling and trying to direct the picture, I get more text messages of like, this is how this should be done. I'm like, again, this still doesn't make any sense. You know what I realized though, Brian?
What? We
should have just called our guest. Maybe he would. Maybe he would help.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So Tyler, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. So product photographer, content creator. What do you got? Tell us.
Yeah. So I'm Tyler with Louisville Bourbon Buzz. That is my started as my passion project. Now it's basically a job. But yeah, so I do content creation for X, Y, and Z brands, numerous brands out there. I've been a photographer for 16 or 17 years. So it's one of those things that I've always been a photographer, basically.
Oh, yeah, man.
And so, yeah, it's just grown into now including whiskey. And
even better. Well, before we get into that, we got to get a drink.
Absolutely.
So we did something different. You know, if you listen to our show, we like to do something a little bit different to every single guest. Things that I see that like seem to be a big hit on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Is your blind bag tastings.
They love it.
So we have decided to do our own blind bag tasting called Stay Firkin Buzz.
Stay Firkin Buzz.
Really, that doesn't get better.
Right? That's what I thought.
Great. It's great.
So what we're going to do is we're going to pass out the first pour. We're going to have a couple sips, and then we'll like start into a little story, and then we'll go ahead and let you pop off the bag, and you tell us what you think. So,
yeah, sounds great.
Before we get into it, let's go through and let's cheers, and cheers to our guest, Tyler. Thank you so much for coming out.
Cheers, gents.
I'll give you a little bit of info on this, very, very little.
All right.
It is 95 proof, so start with a little bit of low proof because it's going. And then it is a rye based, so it is a rye whiskey.
Is it MGP?
It is MGP. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. This would probably be their 95 rye mash bill.
Fucking nose. On the absolute nose.
I don't know what it is, but I like it.
It's pretty good, right?
It's good. It's refreshing.
Rye's my favorite grain, man, and that's a good, refreshing, nice intro.
I'm coming around to rye.
Are you?
Were you not a rye fan before?
I wasn't. No.
Really?
I think some of the ryes that I had dove into before were like really earthy ryes.
Yeah.
And I'm just not. I'm saying this, and I love Jeff the Creed, but I'm not big on earthy.
Yeah,
I say Jeff the Creed because they're very earthy.
They are very earthy.
It is.
But I love their stuff. But yeah, like the 15 Stars rye. First West, like made me realize like, oh shit, like there's a lot of good rye out there.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, this is just another part of the journey of
absolutely.
me getting into rye.
So there's just something about rye. I don't know if it's that spice grain. I think it also comes to in time of drinking of experiencing whiskey and bourbon.
Correct. Yeah. And also like drinking rye on the rocks in the summer makes sense to me because I love getting like that minty spearmint note off of rye.
Yeah,
so you mix that with some cold rocks, and good summer patio.
Oh, it's my favorite way to drink whiskeys on rocks. I mean, you say something pretty often in a lot of your Instagrams, which is drink whiskey however the way you fucking like.
Yeah, drink the bourbon the way you want to drink it.
Who the fuck cares?
Although nobody realized it, I was waiting for some guy or person to comment on my damn post, but I started saying my tagline wrong for like 3 episodes. I had recorded like 6 reviews back to back. So what happens when you drink that much alcohol? And I realized when I was editing them that my freaking tagline was wrong. I started saying drink the bourbon the way you like it, and I was positive that was it. And then when I edited, I was like, Tyler, you were fucking hammered. You were saying your own tagline that you've been saying for 6 months wrong. So, yes, it is in fact drink the bourbon the way you want to drink it.
And I can tell you, we've only recorded like 6, 7 of these episodes so far, and I can say that as we go along, recording things that are normal are the hardest things to do.
For sure.
Well, you ran a podcast. I mean, you have some experience in this, right?
Yeah. So I had the Stay Buzz podcast with my my buddy Clay. Yeah, it was one of those things that I started out COVID times
Yeah.
because I was like, oh shit, I'll just talk to myself in my office.
That's right.
Why
So I
not?
started that, and then I had my friend Clay on. He's also a photographer and avid bourbon enthusiast. And drunkenly, I was like, yeah, you should be my co-host. So then he joined the podcast, and then that was when life got crazy, business-wise, life-wise. So it was a struggle ever since he joined.
Yeah.
But, it's all good. And unfortunately, that chapter is closed.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is.
Louisville Bourbon Buzz on Instagram.
Yep.
So how did you get there?
I started the page in 2015. This is what a lot of people don't know. I started the page in 2015, so 8 years ago, right? Yeah, 8 years ago. And basically just because I started drinking whiskey with my dad when I turned 21, which was in 2012.
Okay.
I didn't drink a drop of alcohol for 21 years of my life. And then the day I turned 21, I broke the lifestyle that I was choosing to live, which was called straight edge.
You really went deep, didn't you?
I did. Yep. And I was like, you know what? I've made it 21 years. I'm going to imbibe.
I'm going to go ahead and gain back all those 21 years.
I got a lot of college years to catch up on. So I started drinking beer, mainly craft beer, and then bourbon became about, that 2012, 2013 was when I consider the boom really started. Right. And then in 2015, my dad and I, we cracked an old dusty Jack Daniels. Tastes just like you would expect it would. Subpar.
Yeah.
And, but I was like, whoa, that's fun. Like I got banana, I got, oak and citrus, like all the notes that you get off of it. And I was like, that was fun. Like to experiment.
Was that your first time kind of getting those notes?
Yes. That was my first time truly drinking whiskey and kind of trying to understand it. So then I was like, well, as anything with my life, if I can figure out how to take pictures of it, I'm going to create an Instagram for it. So I started Louisville Bourbon Buzz, and I had a whole freaking sheet of random names that I wrote down, and still lived with my parents at the time because I was a wee lad.
Understood.
And so we talked about it, and they were like, Louisville Bourbon Buzz. And I was like, all right, that's it. So I started the Instagram, pushed that for about 2 years rather, getting married, renovating an entire house, had to put something to rest.
Yeah.
So I put Louisville Bourbon Buzz down, continued working my full-time job as as a portrait photographer at the time, and then basically COVID happened. I was like, well, I'm just drinking again. So I brought Louisville Bourbon Buzz back. So it's been a 3-year grind to get where it is now.
Yeah. Wow. And I got to say, please, listeners, go check out his page. Pictures are
they're stunning,
beautiful.
Man.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, we kind of went through a lot of your old collection and just looked at a ton of pictures, and man,
I think what's been interesting with my page is when you all probably went through it, you could see when I shifted to what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
It was day and night.
Yeah.
It was picture, and then it was bam, all reels. And unfortunately, damn it, I blew up when I started doing fucking reels. Everybody was like, oh, you got to do reels. That's how you're going to have success. It's like, fuck off. It's like, I'm just going to keep doing pictures and doing what I did. And, well, fuck it.
And then you're like, fuck, I got to be in front of the camera.
I did reels, and then by golly, it worked.
Yeah.
So, but, I love it. It has been fun. I did theater through high school, so I was used to acting.
Yeah.
And not that I am acting in my videos. I mean, what you see in my videos is me.
Yeah.
There's no character that I'm putting on in that. It's unfiltered me.
But that acting also builds that confidence just enough to be able to put yourself in front of that camera.
I am the biggest introvert. But if I go to a bourbon event, I am the biggest extrovert.
There you go.
Without alcohol in my system. But boy, when you get alcohol in my system.
You're a music guy too, just like us. It has really attributed to a lot of what we've done and everything over the years. So you've gone to a couple like Liar Than Life, and you've done a lot with music in general, right?
Yeah. So I mean, aside from being in bands, I mean, I guess my whole life was centered around music through high school.
Yeah.
Basically, I was at concerts every weekend. I grew up in the hardcore metal scene. So from the age of 13 to 18, I was pretty much that guy that was going to shows dressed in black, had the studded belt on, had the blonde bang swoop, all that.
You had the blonde bang swoop.
Bleach blonde.
Had to have
Bleach
a
blonde, baby.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wearing the girl pants that I bought that my parents didn't know about,
Sure,
all that shit. And
did you have the eyeliner and stuff on too?
I never went that
didn't go that
far.
far?
I did go on a stint where I did paint my fingernails for a little bit. But
Just
no,
so
that was
much extra work. Nothing
Yeah,
against it. I'm
yeah.
cool if that's what.
And
you
honestly,
do.
as weird as it sounds, the fingernail polish made it feel like my fingers sweat. So I just never wore it after that.
It was just too hot.
Yeah, it just really held the heat in. Just really held the heat in.
He could be in like 30-degree weather, and he's like, "Fuck, my fingers are so hot."
Oh God, they're
like
freaking perspiring.
Jesus, he's walking around like this the whole entire time.
That's what it felt like, But yeah, I mean, basically now it's like I don't go to shows anymore.
Right.
As the elder emos, as we're called, there's a lot of bands these days that I would love to see, but I won't take the time to go out for. I mean, honestly, the bands that I listed on the little survey thing, Beartooth, I will drop anything to go see them.
All right.
Partially because my daughter loves their stuff. She's 1 year old, but she like if I turn it on, she goes ape shit.
That's awesome.
So I'm like, that's awesome. And then the band Sleep Token, they're playing at Louder in Life. That's the only reason I really want to go to that, as well as Gideon that I put on there.
I was going to ask you if there was anybody at Louder Than Life I should be paying attention to. So
yeah, I think it's Saturday is like the biggest day for me. Sleep Token, Gideon, Whitechapel, Suicide Silence. Gosh, who else? There's a couple other big bands on that day that I'm like stoked to see. It's funny, I'm not really excited about any of like the 3 big names that are on each day. I think Tool would be cool to see.
Yeah.
So I've seen Tool a couple times, and they're fucking amazing. The cool thing about Tool is it's so very much more of a visual show. So it's
Correct.
going to be interesting to see what they do outside.
Yeah.
Right.
Just because the times that we've seen them too. We got to go see them a couple years ago, and it's like everybody kind of stands back behind all the screens. It's just all
they
visual.
want to see it.
Before we go to our first break and our next pour, we need to go ahead and unveil
That's right.
the first pour. So, Tyler,
I can't guess what it is.
can
I know I can't.
Okay.
No,
cool.
no.
Cool.
I do. Obviously, it's a rye. You told me that.
It is a rye.
It's MGP, so I did get that.
Yep. You killed that part of it.
I'm just looking at the shape of the bag.
Which, by the way,
I knew he was going to look at the
I
shape.
go ahead and tell you, it took me 3 fucking stores to go and find the bags. Fit the fucking stuff.
Nobody buys brown paper bags.
No one buys. The only ones that they buy are the ones that you stick on the lunch. Well, the fucking lunch ones will not fit any of these fucking bottles. It would have been the poorest tribute to you.
Yeah.
And anyway, so they would have like sucked around the bottle, like try to figure out what that one is. Because there's 2 of these bottles that are extremely noticeable
by the shape.
shapes.
Okay, just all Blanton's probably.
It's all Blanton's. That's actually what the whole entire thing is. We have a brand new Blanton's rye you haven't even tried yet.
I love it.
All right, pull it off, man. It's yours.
Do it. Oh shit. Okay.
Boom. So
Wow.
this one is Stillwater. So it comes from that whole Bushwood line there. That's why I wasn't sure on how to say that.
Yeah.
So Stillwater. I got to meet with those guys today, and we were talking, and they said you did a review one time on their stuff, and I said, you know what, I'm shooting with him tonight. I'm gonna put that in the line.
I like it. Yeah. No,
So-
their bourbon's really good.
It is really good.
The rye is the one I haven't reviewed yet.
I couldn't. That's why I said I wasn't 100%
Yeah.
sure if you had
Yeah.
that one or not.
That's good.
I got to tell them, like, the bottle was, I'm the same way that when you did the review on the bourbon, I was kind of like, man, I don't know tons about golf. I know the rough rules. I know that I can't play.
I didn't even know that this was basically crafted after Caddyshack.
Yeah. So
Everybody started
is.
quoting Caddyshack in the comments, and I'm like, Tyler, you dumbass.
Yeah.
This is Caddyshack.
yeah. So that is like the,
Because
That's
isn't
the
that the name
other-
of Bushwood Social Club?
yeah.
God,
That's so he actually told me,
Fail,
he said,
man.
he said
I
yeah,
know.
when he actually said that, he said, I don't know anything about golf, but the bourbon's good.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it is good, and the design of the bottle is very beautiful.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, even if you don't know anything about golf wise, it is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous bottle.
I don't know anything about golf.
We're gonna take a short break because I'm gonna pass out these next glasses of our Stay Firking Buzzed blind bag tasting. So we'll be back in just a moment.
Love it.
Hey, listener, thanks for tuning in. I just want to jump in here real quick and remind you to go check out our website at firkinpodcast.com and make sure that you subscribe on your podcast platform, whether it be Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and rate and review us. It just helps us kind of get the algorithm going and get out there to more listeners. And please share us with a friend. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, I'm sure you have a friend that's going to enjoy it just the same, and we'd like you to share that along. So thanks for listening, and we'll get back to the episode.
we have gone through and done our next pour here. Now, a little bit on this one. 94 proof, so we went down at 1 point.
Okay.
This is a Kentucky straight bourbon.
Okay.
Well, fuck. Here's my
Would you
problem.
like me to tell you the name of it?
No. Here's my problem is like the bourbon purists of the world. There is there's something special with this one. So when I say that, whenever you say Kentucky straight bourbon, like, well, Angel's Envy is not a Kentucky. Yes, to the point, sure. If we're going to go to absolute definition, sure, it's
right.
not.
Yeah.
I don't care. I like good whiskey.
Facts.
That's
right. Facts.
Like, we can talk and we can go back and forth all day long. So what do you think about this little, now this is Kentucky, good Kentucky brand.
Okay.
Gosh, I just love that nose on this.
The nose is really good. I don't know if it's because of the rye.
I mean, we went down.
Does it have much of a finish, or does it kind of just fall out?
It falls out.
All right.
It falls out. But I do think that that's the downside of the setup is I wanted to get through the rye first.
Sure.
And that's kind of when I went through to this. So I was going down a little lighter.
Yeah.
But you can see with the theme of the last one, you'll know why I switched it that way. Because I did want you to taste this Bushwood. I'm sorry, Stillwater.
Yeah.
So I put that first to get the rye, the big, deep rye grain out of the way.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think that that's the only downside to this is that backup is we're going much, much lighter. Now there is a little bit of rye in this pour.
Okay. It's dark. I mean, I kind of want to think it's old. And a lot of those old
doesn't have an age statement.
Okay.
But it does come from a place that's not probably a problem of blending wise.
Okay.
I do get that though. So I didn't taste these when I went through and poured them first because if I would have, I probably would have maybe picked something different to go through if I really popped to you. But I can guarantee you when we get to the next pour, that's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't you worry about the lightness here.
Okay.
I'm going to pick that up at the
It's
end.
all good, man.
Pure gasoline.
Pure gasoline. So we talked a little bit about your musical background.
Mhm.
How did you get into photography? So, like you said, you've been doing it 17-ish years or whatever. How did you get into saying, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up this camera and I'm going to start taking pictures of shit. That looks good. I love what I do.
He took a picture one day and he was like, man, this is my new profession.
That's
Look
right.
at this.
I mean, that was actually that's pretty damn accurate.
Hey, look at
So in 8th grade at Thunder over Louisville, my parents bought whatever the new fandangled camera was at the time. It was like a Kodak camera, total shitty camera, But at the time, it was the cream of the
The
crop.
higher end at the time, yeah.
And parents being parents, they didn't know what they were doing with it.
Right.
So they handed it to me and the young technological savvy man that I was, and I just started taking shitty pictures of planes that were all blurry, and I was like, but hey, that was kind of fun. And so basically my birthday came shortly thereafter, so they gifted me my first DSLR camera. And then we, right after that, went on a vacation to Gatlinburg. So what does a young man with a camera do in Gatlinburg? Take pictures of streams and trees and shit.
Right.
Yeah. What else is there to
And
do?
I was like,
Cabins.
exactly, right. Which I did take some pictures of.
That was freaking
yeah. And, and I was just like, that was a lot of fun. And then I got into high school, and that's when I got into the hardcore scene. And I was like, oh, look at these dudes taking pictures of these bands.
Right.
So then I started taking pictures of the bands. So then I would tour with bands and do pictures of them on the road and photograph them at the local venues. And then the rest is history.
You did a pretty
Wow,
cool local band here for a little bit. You did Houndmouth.
Yeah, I did photograph Houndmouth for a
Yeah,
while.
that was pretty neat, man.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah, so that's a big local band, New Albany, right?
Yep.
That's where they're from?
Yep.
Did
live
pretty
about-
good.
They call it
Yep.
Albany up there.
Albany.
Albany.
Yeah.
Albany. We got to put that together. Albany.
Yeah, I did some press stuff for them, and yeah, they were a lot of fun to work with, and I still occasionally communicate with those guys, very few and far between and in passing, but yeah, they're good people.
You still doing band photography too, or are you just mostly strict on going straight products now?
The
or?
only band that I really photograph is the Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band.
Oh, yeah.
They were a band that I loved. I saw them at Waterfront Wednesday many years ago, and then they played at Z-Bar, and I drunkenly had the courage to go up and say, hey, Reverend, you should let me take pictures.
I was just taking some pictures.
And
You
speaking
do
of
get friendly after you've had a few drinks.
Of course. And then speaking of straight edge, Rev doesn't drink, so he was stone cold sober. And he was
You're not.
I gave him my card, and it was like 6 months later at like 3 a.m. I got an email. I was like, "You still want to take photos for us?" I woke up and I was like, "Yeah,
Absolutely.
So he's the only band I really truly will do press material for. I've just gotten out of that touch a little bit with photographing with music, and they've just become pretty much best friends of mine. So,
Awesome.
Yeah. I did fashion and modeling photography for many years. Then that went into high school senior portraits, which is a huge contrast to alcohol. But I kept those careers separate, as you should as a professional.
He's shooting whiskey on one side, drinking it like, hey, I know you're not 18 yet, but come over here.
Right. And so
These kids are like, can I call you up before prom?
Can you take my picture?
Luckily,
before
I never had that. But I'm getting away from that, mainly because it's just the schedule restrictions that brings to being a parent.
Yeah.
I'm shooting weekends all the time, and with my wife's profession, that's the only time she is off. So to be a dad, to be a husband, I was just like, I got to pull away from this. And honestly, as greedy as it sounds, there's more money in commercial product photography.
Oh, it
So,
makes sense.
and obviously that's where my heart and my passion is right now. So I'm just, I'm still going to do occasional senior sessions here or there because that's what allowed me to have the freedom to get to this.
Yeah. Sure.
So I'll never not do it. But instead of doing 60 plus sessions in a year, I'll do like 10.
Oh, is that what you were doing beforehand?
I did 64 last year, and I'm only doing 12 this year.
Wow.
So I was going to have it,
But
and then I just decided, I was like, everything's clicking. So
Yeah.
I need to I need to put all the eggs in the pot.
What about weddings?
Fuck that.
So I did do weddings. I maybe did like 10
Did you
weddings
really?
in my career, but that was in like, 2014, 15, 16. And God, I hate it.
Dude,
Never
that
again.
sounds awful to me.
Never
That sounds like
again.
the worst.
It was terrible.
Oh my God. Because there's no way that you're going to please people with every fucking picture.
And I don't think it was that for me. Like, I'm used to that as a photographer, and especially with whom I'm photographing. You can't please them with everything.
Correct.
You will find the ones that they want, and that's all that matters. But it's like, as a person with emotions, I loved knowing what I was capturing. It's like, this is fucking rad. These people love each other and they're getting married. But God, did I hate the workload. It's like, you're with them for 12 to 14 hours day of.
Sure.
And then you're doing 12 to 20 hours of editing and culling and all of that days after. It's just too much time.
So, what'd you think about that pour?
Well, the nose is amazing.
Nose
That
is
nose
awesome,
is
man.
fantastic. Yeah.
That was awesome.
The
I do
front,
agree with the light.
the front palette is good, but then, dude, it just dies.
Yeah.
For me.
It does die.
Everything after that.
It does die. I'm going to go ahead and let you unveil it, man. Do you have any guesses? And maybe you don't get the product. Maybe you get the distillery.
It's not Jim Beam.
It's not Jim Beam.
94 proof.
Very light.
I'd maybe guess turkey. No, fuck that.
That wasn't turkey.
No. I'm gonna go Heaven Hill. I'm gonna go Heaven Hill.
It's a good call. It is a Heaven Hill product.
Okay, cool.
It is a Heaven Hill. Unveil it, my friend.
Oh, Elijah Craig toasted. That's why I don't like
Toasted.
it.
Yeah.
That's why I don't favor it.
Are
too
you
much.
not a toasted person?
Oh, I love toasted bourbon, but I don't like Elijah
So
Craig.
I like the Elijah Craig toasted over some of the other toasted.
It's because it falls flat, dude.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
like,
I understand.
To me,
Totally
it's like
get it.
drinking a flat Coke. When you drink a Coke, you get the sugar up front,
Yeah.
and then it just goes.
Yeah.
Goes away.
That's what that reminds me.
Oh,
of.
that's interesting.
Makes sense.
It's
like
like,
that, yeah.
boom, there's like a hit, and then it just goes.
That makes sense. Still got a great flavor. Elijah Craig just makes an
I-
awesome product.
I love regular Elijah Craig.
Love
And
Elijah Craig.
Barrel Proof is ungodly.
One of my favorite items to get is Elijah Craig Barrel.
So I expected to love that.
It is. It's much lighter. I mean, also too, I do kind of have this belief here in Kentucky for sure. I can't say this is all over, just from other states I've been to, that we do like much higher proof stuff here.
Yeah.
Much higher proof.
Because we
stuff.
drink a lot.
That's the thing. Yeah. Told somebody this earlier. I had a meeting with, and I asked them. I said, "Are you coming out with something a little higher proof?" And he said, "Oh, we'll eventually get there." He's like, "But I just don't want to, scare too many people away." And I said, "I understand, but you want to come to Kentucky?
Yeah.
80 proof ain't gonna do it here, man. Like, you might get a couple bottles, so there's no doubt about it. And there's a lot of great 80 proof stuff, but for people who drink regularly, 80 proof to me is flavored water.
Yeah, they ain't much going on there. That's right.
It's just nothing there.
It is literally water.
Yeah, it's not that there's bad. Like, there's great bourbon flavors, and I do think there's a lot of great 80 proof whiskeys that are out there that are wonderful introductory to whiskey.
I don't know if you have it in a quick scan, but the Penelope 80 proofer, white label 80 proofer, is actually pretty good. Yeah.
Is that it?
Unopened.
I haven't even opened it.
Yeah. But
he saw the 80 and he was like,
That one itself, actually, I was like, you know what? For being 80 proof, it's good.
Let's try it.
Say less.
What do you think? I mean, let's we're just gonna use this glass. I know it's not like the full one professional way to do it. Blah, blah, blah.
Go ahead and give me some water here to hydrate. Yeah.
Look at that. So this is an unplanned pour.
man, yeah,
This
not
is-
often can you just grab one off the shelf and be like, oh, it's what we're talking
I don't know
about.
if you have it.
It's not even open.
I'd be surprised if I don't.
Again, it is.
Now this is a 4-grain too, by the way. So a little bit different.
It is flat. Like it's 80 proof.
Oh, what a great nose, though.
The nose is super sweet. Yeah. But like it is flat. Again, I go back to that like kind of that flat Coke where it's like it's very one lane.
Yeah.
But like I like that there is
So
a little
there's
bit
a
to dive
little
in.
bit more of a finish than I would say on the toasted. Actually, that's kind of interesting.
See,
Being
I think
80
there's-
proof over 94, there's
I
definitely
think there's more of a finish on that.
There
than
is.
on
There's
toasted.
definitely more
There
of a
is.
finish on the 80 proof than there was the 94 proof. I wonder if that has to do with the toast.
I think it
of
has to
the
do with the
products?
fact that Penelope knows what the fuck.
They do.
Possibly
Not
too.
that Heaven
Maybe
Hill-
possibly
Do they
too.
ever?
That's
Not that
be
Heaven Hill
possible too.
doesn't, but Penelope, dude. I mean,
Really
they're
good.
crushing it.
4-grain right there. 4-grain taste, aged a minimum 36 months in charred new American oak barrels. You got a good Penelope following,
Yeah, man.
right? Like that's done.
Yeah, I
tasting
mean,
a bunch of different stuff that they have.
yeah, I mean, Penelope is like that bourbon that if I post it, it's going to do well on my
Mm.
page.
It's awesome.
Um,
Those guys have done some really cool stuff.
And
Really
it-
cool stuff.
Mainly because they were my number one of 2022 with their toasted. That won my overall. And so, granted, that wasn't my most viewed video, but it was the one that the people that followed me were the most diehard Penelope fans. So, my most viewed video of my top 10 was Jack Daniels Bonded because everybody fucking hated me because I put Jack Daniels. They're like, this guy goes to college or something. Come on, drinking Jack Daniels.
Who's this
I don't know why they.
fucking guy?
I don't know why they talk like that, but I
Every
mean,
one of them does.
They're all from New York.
It's so
Hey,
weird.
what are you supposed to do?
drinking fucking Jack Daniels.
This fucking guy with his
Anybody?
fucking bourbon. This ain't even fucking bourbon. What the fuck?
So, man, there's team, and I don't see it as much as I did when I first kind of got into this industry. You see a lot of people out there that shit on some Jack Daniels, and I don't fucking understand why, man.
Dude,
Jack puts out great whiskey. You can
I
cuss
think-
me all you want to all day long.
I think
Great whiskey.
anyone that hates on Jack Daniels only drink Jack Daniel Black Label.
That's
the
right.
80 proof.
Which
And I think if you gave them a 125, 130 proof single barrel and said that is Jack Daniels, they would be like, "You're lying to me."
That's right.
Yeah.
And then let them taste the bonded, and they'd be like, "I understand." Let them
Yeah.
taste the triple mash. I understand.
it's great product.
It is.
It's great product. Anybody who's crapping on JD is crazy.
That's right. And I'm
Yeah.
just saying, go check out episode 2 with Ian Sulkowski, and he'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, he knows all
That's
about
right.
JD.
He does know a little about Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
He does know a little about Jack. Good calling. That's a little
Yeah, that's
pour. A
awesome. I
little
love
surprise pour.
Penelope,
We're not
man.
even giving him this as the pick a pour section. This is
Yeah,
just
fuck
like,
that.
Ah, shit. Let's just try it.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Tyler.
All right.
At the Firkin Podcast, we like to explore the stories behind the drinks. We've done that throughout the first few episodes with a number of amazing guests, and we want to keep bringing great content to you. I want to encourage everyone to become a Firker at patreon.com/FirkinPodcast. Help support the show and make what we're doing possible. That's patreon.com/FirkinPodcast. Benefits include early access to shows, pre-sale tickets, cutting room floor content. Who could ask for more? Come make the show possible. That's patreon.com/FirkinPodcast.
we are back.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah. So I saved one of now this is what I'm assuming you've probably had it. I at least know that you have had a rendition of this at some point in time somewhere.
Okay.
But it's the big dog pour, baby.
Big dog.
Big dog.
Okay. Yeah, you didn't pass this out during the break, you amateur.
I didn't pass this out because we were talking.
He's got a reach now. See?
Shit.
Oh.
Probably doesn't look good on camera either.
This smells familiar.
So we are jumping drastically up, and the only thing I'm going to give you on this is proof.
Is this okay? Go ahead and give me the proof.
124.7.
This isn't Michter's 10, is it?
It's not.
Okay. All right.
It is not from that distillery.
Said, wait, 0.7.
He was like,
Yeah. If it was 0.6.
If it was 24.6, it's definitely Michter's.
This smells very, very
my
familiar.
Gosh, I would find it hard to believe that you've never had a rendition of this. So,
Okay.
it is highly, highly, highly allocated.
Well, isn't that a delight?
Isn't that fucking?
Did
great?
you hide all of the gaps that you put in your bar?
I did.
Yeah.
Actually, as soon as I got done,
He's like, can you move that? I got in here.
I
He's
was
like,
like,
can you move that bottle?
move
And I was
those
like,
bottles
"What?"
around?
He's like, just move that bottle to the right, just a little bit. Okay.
So yeah.
This tastes like Buffalo Trace product.
Ding ding.
Okay.
Wow, look at you.
See, the problem is you all went with big boy bags.
Goddamn right we did,
and
buddy.
I've only got the smaller lunch bags.
Goddamn right we did.
So I know my wife can only pick bottles that fit
That's
within
right.
that. So there's tall bottles under
There
these
are
too.
tall
There are tall bottles under here, and yeah, that's a good point.
Is this from the BTAC collection? Okay. All right. I'm gonna see if I can figure this fucker out.
No, I like it. Like we've narrowed it down. So while you're trying to still, and we're sipping and tasting.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, we can sell you some paper bags too, because we got big ones. So hey,
We
Little
did.
do we know, we have-
By the way, hard to find.
we have the Firkin paper bag
Hard
company
to
now.
find.
we're looking for sponsors any way we can find you.
That's right. Any way we can find it, we will write your name on a paper bag right now.
I will run down to the store and pick some up and then sell them to you.
Only takes 3 stores to figure out where the exact right paper bag you need is.
Is it a no? Oof! I almost said it. Is it William Larue?
This
Hell yeah, dude! Oh my god! Now hold on. Is this year dated?
So went through that earlier.
funny you ask.
It's not.
All right, but do you know what year you bought it?
I'm 99% sure because I do have another version of it, and I was trying to remember which one I drank.
Okay.
So I'm 99% sure I do know the year.
Is it a 2020?
No.
Okay. All right. Because this tasted. Is that the year they skipped? Because now that I say that, I'm like, wait a minute. No, I think they put out
They
a 2020.
skipped 2021.
Correct.
Yeah, they skipped 2021, came up 2022.
All right. So is this 2022?
Got it.
There you go.
We have the for everybody that is the 2022.
Hold on.
William Larue
That's
water.
pretty fucking crazy, actually.
Yeah.
I've only had this once in my life, and that was at Bourbon Classic.
Really? Was it really?
Oh, no
And I was
shit.
able to narrow it down.
Look at
No
that.
shit. Yeah. So I told you I wasn't sure. You know, when you get into bottles like that, it's always hit or miss on the
Right.
person if they've had them because a
Yeah.
lot of that ends up going to who do you know that can get you the
Yeah,
pour.
I'm impressed.
There's just not a lot
at
of
this guy.
lot of those type of bottles around.
I'm
So what do you think about
pulled
that,
it
man?
out.
pretty stoked
Got
about
it
that.
done.
Did I finish strong for you with my pours?
It was a strong
It
finish.
was a fucking strong ass
Yeah,
finish,
it was
man.
a strong finish. You really
so I was
pulled
looking
through.
around. I wanted to do something like big, bold. I
Yeah.
was thinking I was going to do like a JD hazmat type of bottle, which
Yeah.
would be fun for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I'd have
But,
to stay the night if you did
I
that.
understand.
So Tyler, new dad.
Yeah.
1 year old, right? You said?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Already past 1 year or coming up on 1 year?
So last Friday was her 1 year.
Oh, no shit.
Right.
We had her birthday party on
Right.
Sunday.
Wow.
So yeah.
Little girl. What's her
Yep.
name?
Olivia.
Olivia.
That's
Yeah.
awesome,
Good
man.
name.
Yeah.
And you only have to look downside as both of our girls are 14, so
Yeah.
have
well,
fun.
Yeah.
About 13 years from now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Uh-huh.
awesome.
Yeah, my kids started. My kids started working at a pool today. Today was her first day.
Oh, today was day one.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap, man.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I got a 1-year-old and she's already, I got a college, start a college.
That's
fund,
right.
It's like, holy shit.
By the way, they get more expensive as they get older.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
They're pretty expensive when they start out, but it kind of like there's this like bell curve, this
Yeah.
reverse bell curve, and then it gets like super expensive.
Yeah, I feel like I can forecast that there's going to be a dip
That's right.
because we're going to have a lot of things, and then boy howdy, it's going to go up, and it's never going to stop.
Buddy,
You know?
every time my daughter texts me, I said this to her the other day. I said, every time you text me, you're asking for money. Like, it is, I need money to do this. I need money to do that. And I'm like, I don't have any money.
And now in today's day and age, just Venmo me, Dad.
Yeah. So that's
know
where
it.
we're at, baby.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
That is
what
what we have. They
And
have
that's
their own
terrifying.
little card,
Yeah.
and that's how they get paid
Yeah.
with their chores and things
Yeah.
like that. Is you just pretty much cash app them,
Right. Yeah.
That's what you do.
What's been your what's been your routine for the past year? I mean, it had to change drastically, right? I mean,
Yeah, it
becoming-
did. I mean, before she was here, I was very much like stay up till 2 a.m. every night,
Yeah.
wake up at 6 or 7 a.m. and be totally fine.
Mhm.
Like I just functioned on little amounts of sleep.
Life's different now.
Oh God, dude! If I don't go to bed before like 10:30, is a fucking wild night.
Buddy,
And-
tell me about it, man.
And like, if I'm up until 10:30, I feel like complete dog water the next day. I'm like, holy shit! I didn't even drink last night, but I feel hungover. I'm just like, holy
when
shit!
we were talking about taking those pictures for the website,
Yeah,
he was texting me at 10:30 at night, and I said, "Dude,
I gotta go to bed.
like I am 3 hours past bedtime.
yeah, yeah,
You're lucky you're getting this much
That's
fucking
true.
work
Yeah,
out
that's
of me
true.
on this."
yeah. So I think that's been the biggest change for me. Is like I would work a lot late at night, and now if I don't get work done before dinner time, and then we have the whole routine for bedtime, I don't get jack shit done.
Oh yeah.
Because I just go to bed and then I wake up, I do the same thing, I get behind. So that's been business wise, it's been tough.
Man, story of the fatherhood.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah, and luckily in the line of work that I'm in, I'm working with sons and daughters of people right now, and outside of the product world, obviously, that they all understand the woes, but in the product space, it's a little bit hard to be like, listen, I'm sorry, I can't meet this deadline because I have a child.
Yeah,
You know,
like we don't give a
Like
fuck.
so
Right.
do I, asshole. Let's get this thing done, baby.
I've got
We
10.
told you when we wanted the fucking pictures.
Right. So that's been tough, but I've made it work. I've had nobody upset. So
Oh, that's great.
that's all that matters. But it's been a big change, but as expected.
Yeah.
Everything that everybody told me that was going to change and was going to happen, it in fact fucking happened.
You know what's cool?
What's that?
You brought us whiskey.
I did.
Oh, nice.
I'm almost empty.
So we'll start with the bourbon, and then we'll end with the rum, because obviously that's going to be a palate shot.
Hell yeah, man. So tell us what you brought for us.
So the first one here is
Aw.
my single barrel pick that I did at Starlight,
Excellent.
which will be sold exclusively in their gift shop.
Cool.
But this is finished in a 1948 Spanish brandy cask,
Hell yeah.
and it's bourbon whiskey. Probably by the time they're bottling it, we're letting it go through the summer just so that it can get a little bit darker.
Sure.
But it's going to be probably closer to 5 years. I went with this one because it's just super sweet, and I love my bourbon to be sweet if it's not overly spicy.
Gotcha.
And I'm also diving into brandy now, so I like that sweet brandy note.
There's a lot of awesome brandies out there for sure.
Yeah, and when it comes to like summer, I think brandy and crisp and apples and grapes and all that good stuff. So, so whenever we tasted through this one, I was like, this is kind of a no-brainer. I also picked a French oak double oaked as well. And then also Sealbox picked that. We split the barrel, so Sealbox got half,
Cool.
I got the other half. So what'll be nice about that is, that'll also be sold in the gift shop, but I can recommend it to my followers that can buy it from Sealbox.
Oh, that's awesome.
But unfortunately, the one that is my absolute cream of the crop, in my opinion, is just in the gift shop. So, yeah. So Huber's itself is a winery, but they also
Yes.
are a destination for tourism. They have tours of their vineyards, and they have you can pick apples, you can pick strawberries, apple. Did I already say apples?
You did say apples. Well, let's say
Pumpkins.
Say it again.
That's what I was
They got
thinking.
a lot of
Peaches,
apples.
pumpkins.
Apples, pumpkins, peaches. You can pick all the produce there,
Strawberries.
basically, and you can go out and do it yourself. So
Even
it's
apples.
even apples. They're a destination too. And then I think it was 2015 when the bill officially passed for the state of Indiana that you can distill they hopped on that pretty quick. So
I gotta say, Tyler, this is awesome, man.
appreciate
So,
that, man. It's fun.
I got this like I don't know, almost this crunchy graham cracker note to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like just makes me want to chew a little bit.
Yeah, it's hearty. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's awesome, man. Go and check those guys. When are we releasing this, do you think?
So I was hopeful that it was going to be this month, but I was talking with Christian, and I think they just want to let it go a little bit more because when we picked it, it was in the back of the rick house, and we picked that in late February, early March, so it's still pretty cold. So now it's warmed up, so there's a lot more of that color coming out and a lot more of that brandy influence. So I think we're probably looking at like a late July, early August.
So depending on the time of our next podcast, maybe we can retaste this after it's been in the barrel just a month or so longer.
Yeah,
that could legit be in the gift shop during the live show.
It could. Yeah, it absolutely could be in the gift shop. And please, I know the Hubers will let us know, but you also let us know when this releases. We'll make sure that we post this online, that you guys can go up to Hubers as well as Sealbox.
So the 1948 Spanish brandy will not be on Sealbox.
This one will not be at Sealbox.
But the other one that I picked that I didn't bring, the French Oak Double Oaked, will be.
Awesome.
Oh, look, we're back to our theme of things that people picked and didn't bring. Oh, look at that.
Tell us about all the great product you didn't bring us to taste.
We had a couple of episodes where
what else you got at home, Tyler, that you didn't bring? Actually, we should have a theme of, we should have our own episode, shit that people didn't bring. We'll bring back Tyler and it'll be like, so
I got 20
all
barrels.
This shit I have at home. Yeah. It's so good.
Well, I didn't bring that because I brought the rolling fork.
Now we are going to get in. The good thing is I don't have to drive, so I'm going to finish this, and then we're going to go into rolling fork. So while you're grabbing that, I don't have a lot of history or a lot of knowledge on rolling fork. What can you tell us about these guys out there? And then this is we're leaving whiskey altogether, right? We're going to rum.
Yep. Well, this does have whiskey influence.
Okay, cool. Give me the story.
Basically, what's cool about Rolling Fork is they're an independent bottler. So all of their stuff is sourced, obviously, from Barbados, El Salvador, Trinidad, Brazil, all over the place. And basically, so what we're going to be tasting today is a 10-year-old Barbados distilled by Foursquare.
Okay.
And it is finished in a toasted bourbon cask, which there is a cask number here, which is WDO. Can you imagine what cask that is? Woodford Double Oaked.
Oh, hey, is it Woodford Double Oaked?
Oh, I was going with Western Digital.
Western Digital.
Okay,
fair enough.
Yeah.
So all
brand new rum hitting the market, finished in Western Digital.
There's a distillery out there that would probably put that on their labels, and I can tell you the name, but I don't want to get.
We're not going to do that here. We want Tyler to continue to work.
That's correct.
Oh,
yes. So their cast numbers are all like they have some finished in a William Larue, so it's WLW.
Oh, very cool.
So basically,
story.
it's per copyright. They can't just put cast number
right, yeah.
Weller. So it's a Woodford Double Oak toasted barrel. So this one here, to me, whenever we tasted it, because we got to taste
two clean glasses over here that Brian and I will use. You've tasted it. So
go ahead. So this one here, to me, is very bourbon forward. So a lot of what Foursquare does is they put their products, when they distill it, is they put it in like Jack Daniel barrels. That's a very common for rum.
Okay.
So whenever the dudes at Rolling Fork source this product, it's normally brought over here in the barrel, or sometimes I think they do it like in, like a vat of sorts. So their whole thing is then they put it into a second finishing barrel, let it sit typically for a minimum of a year, and then they put it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm a human. I just love rum. And now I've gotten into rum much more recently.
Yep. Same.
I've drank rum for a while, but I more drank rum of like just drinking rum if it were just mixed drinks, things like that.
Yeah.
I've never really sipped rum until as of the last little bit.
Throw that on there, bro.
It's probably a smart move because with our luck, we'll flip that all over.
So this one here is 10-year-old Barbados rum, finished in a Woodford Double Oak toasted cask. Probably finished for about a year, as that's kind of their standard call. This one here is just on the nose. I think if you put it in a blind with all of these, I think you could be like, that's a bourbon. It's just really sweet.
Yeah.
I get a lot, and I am drinking from just to let you know, B and Brian are drinking from brand new clean glasses, so
That's
we
right.
don't actually rinse ours out.
There's no bourbon in
So
here.
there is no bourbon in here, and I get it. Absolutely, tons of notes of bourbon off of this, and then there's that sweetness in the background, which
Very
you can get from
molassy.
many different bourbons.
Oh, yeah,
but
that's right there in
it's
the
that
back. It's
thick
fantastic.
molasses smell that you're getting on top of this.
Yeah. The palate is just overall like super viscous, which most Woodford double oak to me is very viscous, high viscosity. But when you throw in the molasses of the Barbados rum, it's like heightened.
Yeah, so it also is taking that where you're getting with the double oaks, the stuff like that, where you're getting so much of that deep dark oak. It really kind of mellows that out.
Yep.
Where if you're not like this humongous oak fan, like you just don't want to be slapped in the face with oak, you get that off of the nose.
Right.
But I'm not getting that. I'm not getting tons of like just getting beat in the face with any type of oak off of this.
Yep.
You know what's neat about this? I don't know if you guys get it, or maybe if it's just the other whiskey that I taste. I'm getting this cool finish in the middle of my tongue that's got this spiciness to it. Like, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's right in the middle, which is making the finish really long lasting, which I don't
Yeah,
get
that
from a
finish
lot of
lasts. That's for sure.
rums. A lot of rums dissipate really quickly with sweetness because you don't get a lot of spice.
Right. Well, and it's because a lot of rum is spiced with additives, and this one's all, it's pure molasses distillate, put in a barrel for 10 years.
Yeah, get into that a little bit if you don't mind. I mean,
Yeah, so a lot of the rum that you see, so all your Captains and all of that are on the shelf, they are distilled, but then there's additives put it in it to make it the color and to make it the flavor.
right.
So what's cool about Rolling Fork is there's 0 additives in any of their products. So it's all just pure cane juice or pure molasses and distilled and then put into a barrel for X amount of years.
I'll tell you what, that's one hell of a product right there.
Yeah.
It really is. That's good, guys.
Yeah.
Go out and find Rolling Fork rum. Any liquor store, if they don't have it, make sure that you request it. So we're almost to the close, but we have not done one main thing,
I know. I've started
which is
looking around.
letting Tyler pick a pour. And there is anything. Unfortunately, Tyler has not had a lot of time to go through the whole bar.
That's
So
right.
he only kind of gets to see what he can see from here. But anything, there's only one bottle that technically is off limits because I don't know when I'm going to open it.
Uh-oh.
And it is this. It's hidden up there. It's got this plastic bag around it.
Uh-huh.
It's a 1947 White Horse Scotch.
It's fine.
So Tyler, why don't you show the audience at home what you decided to pick?
So I am huge into Japanese whiskey. That's something I don't promote about because I don't need to create another Instagram for how much I'm into that. But I went with the 12-year-old Hibiki Suntory whiskey, which you just informed me that this isn't done anymore. This
not
isn't
made.
made anymore.
It
So
hadn't been produced in years.
I do think it needs to be said that I went with this after I removed the first bottle that I chose, which was the Jack Daniel Twice Barreled
That's
American
right.
Single Malt.
Which is what's great about this bar is like, I have picked one.
Yes.
Fuck.
Yes.
Oh, what's that behind it?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
No,
Hold
you
on.
Don't say.
So
yeah,
we got to get better about hiding those behind
Uh-huh.
bottles.
Yeah, make people move them around more.
we,
Yeah.
or we have to turn them backwards or something.
12-year-old Hibiki. I don't know when they stopped making this, but I know it's well over 5 years.
Wow.
This is really cool. I know they still put out, I think, the 18-year, if I remember.
Mhm.
I think they completely got rid of the 12-year and went to strictly the Harmony,
Okay.
Hibiki Harmony.
Yep.
So this is a bottle, like, this was one of my very first Japanese pours.
It doesn't have to be
And
much.
I
It can just
had
be a
it.
kiss.
Ah, buddy. This is going to be what's cool. This is going to be different than anything else we have had today.
Goodness
And
gracious.
gosh, man, I would have never guessed that you would have pulled this one.
Mm.
God, how amazing does that smell?
Tell me, Tyler.
It's everything I wanted.
Oh, love it.
Dude, what I love about most Japanese whiskeys is that the proof, like this drinks just like, as far as proof goes, Nika straight from the barrel. But Nika is much higher in proof.
So I don't think I've ever had the Nika straight from the barrel at all.
It's fantastic.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So we are at 86 proof on this 12-year-old Hibiki Suntory. Label reads a harmonious blend of handcrafted specifics. Select specifically aged whiskeys.
There's just so much going on right there in the middle of the palate.
It's like nothing else. So, like I said, this is a Japanese whiskey with produced by Suntory.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up the.
Oh, he's doing some investigation over here, guys.
Yeah, he's not texting. It's okay.
I'm looking up like the average. Proof.
I'll be home soon. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm still here.
It's only hour 5. We're still going.
So I don't know if it's every release, but 51.4 is for Nika.
Really?
So yeah, I mean this is 43%.
What do you think about it? Have you ever had the 12-year-old Hibiki?
I haven't.
You haven't?
It drinks very similar to me.
It's so good. Like this was like I think I said, I don't know if we were recording or not. This was my very first pour of Japanese whiskey. And God,
to me, what Japanese whiskey does is takes the sweetness and like vanilla bread cookies of Scotch, but takes away the peat.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
which is
I can
honestly,
get you there.
yeah.
I'm so what a great way to put it, because one of my things, and I know that this goes against the Scotch world of the world, because there's many Scotches I do like. I don't like peat.
No.
I've just never been a peat.
We dogged on
fan.
Scotch a couple episodes ago, so we're
No,
good.
man, like I just don't like peat.
I'll be honest. The only Scotch that I've really gotten into is Big Red Liquors up in Indiana did a pick of some barrel strength Scotch. I don't know where it came from, but it was very high proof. That was phenomenal. It was like a single barrel run. And then also Dewar's 12-year.
Dude, Deer's 12 years
Oh.
great.
I love Dewar's 12 and Dewar's 15.
Oh man, I'm glad you brought up Big Red Liquors though.
Yeah?
I worked there.
Nice. Okay.
I did.
Yeah. Hell
Dude,
yeah.
I've known this guy almost 10 years. I've never heard that.
I
you
totally.
worked at
I worked there
Big
for
Red
about a
Liquors.
year up in Bloomington.
Yeah, yeah. Dude,
just
they do
stocking
great stuff.
shelves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they have a great presence in Indiana. Great
Their
presence in
their
Indiana.
single barrel program is amazing.
Yeah.
Most of their like single barrel select stores where you can buy all of their picks and stuff are just incredible. And then they started. It's called Krogman's Presents, but it's like their private label where they're just going out and picking like 3-4 year MGP, bottling it with a cool label, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, I'm a sucker for MGP. Like
Dude.
I love MGP.
Hey, man.
we've said it on this show.
You got
many
it going.
times.
You got it going. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We've said it on the show. There's still tons of bourbon purists out there for sure.
Yeah.
But I can tell you right now.
I just
some of
built
the
some
best.
of that, and I'm sorry.
So I spilled. So we are drinking, as I told Tyler, that it wasn't don't care. We are drinking from
Yeah.
tiny ass little 1 ounce
Yeah.
pour. I think they're these.
It's so cute,
ounce
you
and a
know,
half
it's
pours.
so cute.
it's difficult to maintain.
Yeah.
We Chris may have bought these because they were a little cheaper to do big tastings where it's going to carry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
But you do understand the swirling aspects of a
I
little
do.
difficult.
It is. Yes. You really get going, and then it comes
It's okay.
out.
Just lick it off of your finger. That's what I did a second ago.
Right.
If you see this in the podcast, you think it's because I was licking the whiskey.
I do that every night. I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
Just happens.
No, but if you don't mind, Tyler, I think
Mm-hmm.
everybody would appreciate your input on this. Like just MGP. I mean, we talked about it a lot a couple episodes ago, but we didn't really get super into it. I mean, can you give people an idea of MGP and why people are kind of weird about it and why they shouldn't be?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are weirded out by it because it's sourced, right?
Right.
So MGP doesn't really technically have a label. They've got like the Remus and stuff like that is MGP, but it doesn't say, it's not MGP on the front of the
Right.
label or anything. They've got Rossville Rye and all of that, which is an MGP thing. But I mean, to me, MGP is giving so many of these distilleries. Take Penelope as an example. Not distilleries, but independent bottlers, rather, a platform to start. And, you've got a brand like Smoke Wagon that is using MGP. And I think there are some brands out there that get the barrels, they tell people they got them, or they blend them the day they get them, and then they put it out, and it tastes just like every other MGP
Right.
brand that does that. But you've got a brand like Penelope that if you put that in a blind, I'm not going to know that that's MGP product.
Right.
And I think that's what is amazing about it, that I think being a blender, if there's a distiller listening to this and be like, F you. But like being a blender is just the same of work of art as being a distiller.
Sure.
Yes, you're doing a different line of work. You're not putting the grain into it. You're just putting liquid into a bottle and mixing more liquid and then tasting it and saying you like it. But, like I keep listing off brands, Barrel Craft Spirits. They are innovators of blending.
Correct.
They do it in a scientific way that I've never seen anyone else do.
Mm.
So I think people need to understand is that just because it's coming from Indiana and no, it doesn't say Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey on it, you can frick right off. And
you can absolutely frick right off.
You can frick right off.
You can frick right off.
Frick right off.
People just need to understand that, dude, okay, I'm not calling them out. Rare character. Some of their early picks were MGP. Then, now they're breaking into the single malt whiskey, which I cannot disclose where that's from. I may or may not know. But it's like...
It's an off the episode.
Everything on the shelf is a facade. There's so much bourbon out there that they're picking up on a daily basis that they don't realize wasn't fucking made in Kentucky.
So it's funny you say that. For our listeners at home, MGP, if you're not into our world, what we're talking about is Midwest grain products of Indiana. That is, they produce well over, I just kind of looked them up to see what their kind of synopsis, well over 50 plus brands.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I think if you go to if you go to Total Wine or you go to Kroger, there's probably 25 to 50% of the bottles sitting on that shelf that you are contemplate buying because it's bought in Kentucky.
Right.
Yeah.
That's from Indiana.
Right.
So agree, man.
And I mean, I got to give a shout out to a company, West Fork. They're up in Westfield, Indiana. They do MGP, but they also have their own distillate, which is coming into its own, and it's simply phenomenal what they're doing on their own distillate.
I've never heard of them. I'm interested.
I will entertain you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. Let's talk and taste that afterwards.
Yes.
I've not heard of them.
I got you. Yeah. So they've got they do their Old Hammer and Hugh Hammer line, which is all MGP. Their Hugh Hammer is finished. Their Old Hammer is just bourbon, not finished in a specialty barrel or secondary barrel. And then they've got their own distillate. But again, what they're doing with it is making a product that tastes different than the next person that buys MGP.
Right. Love it.
Any of us three could go and buy MGP barrels.
Yes, we can.
Put it in a bottle. Make it $400 because it's the forgotten cask. Whatever the fuck that means.
I'm sure. I'm sure I can tell a story.
Right? Yeah. No. This they forgot.
They
about
forgot it. It was in the basement.
Didn't see
It's so
that
weird.
one.
And then a semi brought it down to my garage.
I didn't see that one. I found it.
They had so much.
I think
The Chris Blanford Forgotten Barrel.
right. Yes.
Is the one that I had.
I would buy
it. Yes, you should.
Right.
Wait until this episode comes out.
I think at the end of the day, like, I don't even know if I've answered your question, but you've just got to understand that on the shelf that there are certain rules and laws in bourbon that you can source from another country or another state, and as long as it's within a certain state for a certain amount of time, the wordage is a gray area if it can change. So just because it says Kentucky doesn't always mean it's Kentucky. And there's also ways that people can get MGP to distill it, then they redistill it, and then they put it in a bottle, and you never know that it came from MGP.
Correct.
So there's so many gray areas with MGP. So I think
That's
at the end of the day, to answer your question in a good way, is that just because it's sourced, just because it's not from Kentucky or from whatever state you want it to be from, don't judge it because it's not from there.
It's the old It's the old saying. Don't judge a book by its cover. It does not matter. This bourbon comes in great casks. They come in great bottles. They come with great, beautiful labels. They come with beautiful, amazing, crazy stories.
And back to the fucking sentence that proves it all. If it's good, ... It's good.
Who gives a shit where it came from?
It's good.
Shut
the hell up.
Stop being a shithead about where it comes from.
If it's good,
Hey
it's
man,
good.
if you like it, you like it.
Like I have people that will comment and message me and be like, I saw you reviewed this. It's not from Kentucky. That's swill. It's garbage. And I'm like, well, Chief, I don't know how to fucking respond to that because I like it.
Here's the thing.
know?
I've always said this. I have a personal belief that I think that Kentucky does make in a grand scheme, big heap of thing, we make some of the best whiskey in the world.
For sure, I will agree.
But I have tasted phenomenal whiskey from many states all around.
A lot of other places do.
A lot of phenomenal bourbon from New York to California to Florida to Michigan. There's people that are making great whiskey. Yep. I do just personally believe that we have really done a very good job over the 100+ years that we have been doing whiskey in Kentucky, that we do have something special here. But that does not mean that you cannot make great whiskey.
As a state, we have perfected with the water and everything. We've perfected it as a whole.
Yep.
But, dude, I mean, A
To
brand
say
sent
the
me stuff
only
from-
whiskey comes from the only bourbon in the United States comes from Kentucky, you're fucking crazy.
It's a lie.
That's not true.
I had
That's
stuff
right.
sent to me from Vermont. Genuine Vermont whiskey. Phenomenal.
There is some.
Does it taste different than Kentucky? Yes.
Yeah,
I
I
look
would
at
assume
so let's look at it like Jeff the Creed.
Yeah.
Love Jeff the Creed. A lot of people hate Jeff the Creed because it is a totally different profile.
Mhm.
But I find that the people that are commenting on the difference in taste are the people that are like, no, I can drink Octomore, but I also like Speyside. Hold the fuck up. So the difference between bourbon is very much like
It's the same.
Scotch.
That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Each in different state, the grain's going to be different. The aging process is going to be different.
Correct.
Case in point, look at Texas.
Yes.
Anything that comes from Texas, you could put
There's some
That's
crazy
right,
stuff.
yeah.
you
that
could
comes from
put this
Texas.
Starlight in Texas for 6 months, and it's going to be insanely different than it is 6 months.
It's
here in Indiana.
150-degree heat down there.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. It's going to be different depending on the state that you come from, depending on everything. That's the best part about whiskey is that no matter where you are in the world, you can still get something totally different
Like
and something totally cool.
I can guarantee if you put Jim Beam in Southwest Kentucky, it is going to taste different than where it's aged in Claremont.
I agree.
You're probably right about that.
Temperature difference,
Right.
I agree completely.
height, everything.
Yep.
Elevation, everything is going to be different.
You know, to get towards the end of closing us out of this podcast, I think we can all agree, starting into this world, starting that you didn't even have your first drink until 21, as you didn't even get into real whiskey until you were in much later in life,
Like,
within the last 5 years or so.
39,
I
yeah,
can
something
tell you
Um,
my first 3 liquors, and then where it escalated from there. 4, actually. Jack Daniels, Captain Morgan. The Captain Morgan was a 5th race with my friends, so whoever could finish the 5th first. I threw up everything.
There you go.
I threw up everything.
Oh, and just to call back, that's the rum that rhymes with Captain Jorgen.
Yeah. There's actually a picture from the night that we did that. I didn't finish it, rather, okay? But there's a picture of me where I fell out of the bathroom, and they're all just on top of me, and I'm just dead to the world.
God, that's great.
And then after that, it was Kentucky Vintage from Willett.
Yeah, yeah.
Then Willett Pot Still, which, like,
I'm
is
with
what
you.
it is. Yep.
I'm with you.
And then that was the start of the journey.
Wow.
After Willett
Wow.
Pot Still, it was like, all right, well, then there's all this other shit that I
Yeah,
can buy.
sure. All right. So
All right.
since Tyler has just been an amazing guest, and we're gonna give him a second pick a pour.
Dang, bruh.
Tell me what you got here, Tyler.
So this is the Jack Daniel's Twice Barreled American Single Malt.
Ooh, baby.
Look at that.
What's the proof on that right there?
This is going to be 106.8.
Sweet.
I tell you, we were talking a lot of shit about Jack Daniels earlier. As you can see, it's on the bar. It's fucking on the bar everywhere. JD.
We'll make this format work the way we want it to.
Yep.
How you like that, Jack Daniels?
It's unreal.
Oh, it's so.
Dude, right?
Oh, there's so much going on there.
I see a lot of hype about it, man, and I've never tasted this. I've tasted
Oh,
all their single
awesome.
barrels, their Coy Hills, all that stuff, but I've never had the opportunity to taste this. So this is great.
It's been a while since I've had that.
It's so
few months.
wild that it's different. It's single malt. It's different than their whiskey. I almost said bourbon because LOL, it's almost kind of bourbon. But basically, it's like there's that Jack Daniel's spice.
That's
that
right.
still comes from that, and then the rest of it is just all single malt. So like very soft, shortbread, vanilla, and caramels, and it's just
So American single malt, and this is finished in the Oloroso sherry cast.
I didn't realize that was an Oloroso
Yeah,
sherry.
100%
Sherry,
malted barley, twice barreled, complex
Just
taste.
like that
bottled
Hemingway,
straight
man.
from the finest
Mm.
Oloroso sherry cast.
Love it.
It's
So-
fantastic.
All right, Brian, let's give him the fun little thing that you pulled up to get us towards the end of this episode.
There's going to be some point in life where you have to describe to your child the music you listen to
Yep.
as you're growing up.
Yep.
As I've had to do, as we've all had to do. So I found an interesting article, Hardcore Punk Facts for Kids, and I just want to kind of run through this real quick and then get your take
Okay. All right.
on this article
Yeah.
and maybe something else that you might just add into this.
Okay. This is terrifying.
You agreed to come on this.
I did. Right. I filled out the form.
That's right. You did fill out the form.
The thing I love about this is I was into hardcore music too.
Sure. Yeah. So you have
and
a
I had to go
connection.
through this already.
Yeah.
So like, and I'm like, and you know what my kid listens to? The older one?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
That all
I
That's
checks
don't know
right.
if she knows anything else but Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
She listens to Taylor Swift nonstop, and I like
Get it.
Taylor Swift.
Dude, no, Taylor Swift's great.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know,
Nothing
She's an
bad to say about her.
amazing musician.
We're not
Especially for
passing
the fact
judgment.
that not only do we enjoy her, we don't want to piss off any of her fans.
Right.
We love every single
Hey.
Swiftie out there.
Yeah.
but no, I know you're a hardcore guy. I want to kind of just go back and let's take a look at this.
Let's do it.
Hardcore punk is a style of music that usually sounds louder, faster, and more angry than earlier punk rock music from the 1970s. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Absolutely. Some of the important bands of the genre are Bad Brains, Black Flag, DOA, Minor Threat, and Cro-Mags. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, they set the tone.
Yeah.
Agree.
You got any other ones to add in there?
There's a band called Lionheart.
Fuck yeah.
They would set the tone for hardcore and punk. Oldham County, Louisville owns, man, Knocked Loose.
Yeah, bring it local,
cool,
baby.
cool.
They set the tone. Dude, they're selling out venues all across the country, all across the world. They're phenomenal. They
Hell
set
yeah.
the tone for what today's hardcore is. But in terms of the time frame that was listed there, yes, those bands set the tone.
Hardcore songs often have more political lyrics than songs from 1970s punk. Agree or disagree?
I think I would disagree.
So I would say
100%
it would have to take the context of that question.
To me, hardcore itself, then and now, is more of an emotionally driven
That's
thing.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Punk is political in most cases.
Absolutely agree with you. Yeah.
But there's also punk that is not politically driven.
There
but
is.
I mean, look at punk. Look at the name. What is a punk when you think about that? It's somebody
It's
going against the grain.
Yeah.
It's somebody that's against ruling, whatever it may be.
That's right.
Political, whatever. So yeah, I think I'd disagree with that.
I disagree with that too. Punk was always so much more political than
Yes.
hardcore.
Correct.
Hardcore was always about emotion.
It was about emotion.
Always.
Yep.
People in hardcore punk bands and people who listen to hardcore punk wore clothes that were of two types. Some people wore clothes and hairstyles that were strange and a bit scary, like mohawk hairstyles and leather jackets with metal studs. Other people wore regular clothes like black pants and t-shirts. How do you feel about that, Tyler?
The agreement is so strong that it's incredible. Oh my god! I mean, holy shit! Yeah,
We are explaining this. We are explaining this for children.
right. Yeah.
That's true. We
That's-
did forget the whole point of the article. It is for children.
Children, yes,
That's right.
No, I would say that's true to a T.
Mohawk hairstyles, are those still a thing?
You don't see them as often.
I don't think so.
I don't really know what the emo haircut is now. Like when I, 2000,
Yeah, you were telling us earlier.
2008 to 2010ish, it was the blonde or black. Like
Right.
I had it short in the back, kind of like spiked up,
That's
and
right.
then it was all like blonde bangs, like kind of over this way. I'll show you all some pictures.
I
wait.
can't wait.
And but yeah, I mean that was the quintessential like emo haircut, And I don't know what the emo haircut.
I don't know
is
what
now.
it is now. I know my daughter kind of went with this like it was like all this bangs.
I do. I think that is kind of a thing where it's like more bangs.
Yeah,
for the,
she's not
for the
like
girls.
that anymore. But that's what it was. It was like this, just like
For the
godly amount of.
That's
for the
right.
guys, I almost think it's more of just like an abundance of hair.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Or a buzz cut.
At hardcore punk concerts, people did a type of dancing called moshing. This type of dance involves people pushing each other and jumping off the stage.
Can I say my
Agree or
favorite part
disagree?
of Brian going through this is explaining
Yeah.
what
Moshing is.
I moshed so much.
I firmly agree. And I will not tell my daughter that I was the guy that people were afraid of.
Were you throwing elbows?
So, moshing has changed from when you went to shows to when I was going to shows. It was much more like a choreographed type thing. There was spin kicks. It was very like
A lot of spin
karate
kicks. Yeah,
moves,
yeah, right.
And I have really big legs. So when I got in the mosh pit, people are like, dude, fucking Tyler spin kicks, get the fuck out of the way. And I love to spin kick. I'm a big dude. I don't know how I could spin kick the way I did. But people are like, oh shit, Zoller's here. Fuck, dude. So yes,
Get back.
Hard agree.
great.
Yeah.
Hardcore led to the creation of the straight edge movement.
Oh,
People
well.
who are straight edge do not use alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. Let's talk about the straight edge scene a little bit from the hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, 100% they formed that.
Yeah.
There was a whole documentary on that. And most straight edge also included abstinence as well.
Yeah.
So it was basically just being as pure as you can be. So you know, it was just kind of a, you know, it was just a journey that at the age that I was, in a synopsis, the high school I went to, it was all partying, drugs, alcohol. I didn't want any part of that. I didn't like being out of control of myself.
Same here, yeah.
I was raised to not be out of control of myself. So, yeah, I was just like, once I got in the hardcore scene, I was like, fuck it. I'm straight edge.
That's right.
You know, I'm not going to drink, smoke,
Put
do
some
whatever.
excess on my hands and let's do this.
There was
thing.
plenty of excess on
That's
my
right.
hands. Yeah. And then some hot fingers when I had the fingernail
That's right,
polish
man.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
But-
drove the hot fingers is what drove you to drink.
That's right. Yeah. I was like, I can't wear this. You
Can't do this shit anymore. I need to cool off.
Yeah.
Give me high proof whiskey.
This
Yeah.
polish is just doing too much to me. I
That's
don't know
right.
what's going on.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I 100% agree with that statement that hardcore drove that.
That's awesome.
And I think, you know, what would I give my daughter advice
Yes.
of hardcore is that
Thank you. Yeah.
do not be afraid of someone that is in that genre.
Hell yeah, man.
Because there's a lot of people that are, because, oh, we've got tattoos or, oh, we've got piercings or whatever it may be, that those are some of the most genuine people I've ever met in my life. There's people I met in hardcore that I still communicate with. No, I may not hang out with them, but they were some of the most genuine people I met, and also left the longest lasting impression on me that out of anyone I've ever met.
I'll be honest, I don't think that you can close out the episode any better because I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. You know what, Tyler? It's almost like you knew my next question.
I love it. Yeah.
How easy is it when you get another podcaster on the show?
Tyler, thank you so much for coming out,
Absolutely.
having a lot of great pours with us, telling your cool story.
Quite the smorgasbord.
Yeah, I told you, man. We
Yeah.
didn't know where we were gonna go with this,
This has
right?
been a badass time, bro.
Yeah. it's been good.
This has been so much fun. Check out Tyler. Is there anything you want to plug? Where can our audience find you? What do you got for us?
So I'm Louisville Bourbon Buzz on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok. I'm not Zach Hamilton on TikTok. That's a scammer, so fuck him. And then I'm also on YouTube, which is Louisville Bourbon Buzz. Do not buy bourbon from Zach Hamilton on TikTok. That is a scam. I have a blue check mark for that reason, so that you know that you're buying from. Well, I don't sell online. Yeah.
Well, maybe you do buy.
And that's also something I will plug. I don't sell to anyone.
That's
So
right.
What my bourbon is mine, and I'm sorry about it. So yeah, Louisville Bourbon Buzz everywhere pretty much. And merch is coming eventually. I got to figure out logistics on that. But yeah, that's pretty much the key thing is Louisville Bourbon Buzz on IG.
That's awesome. Tyler, thank you so much.
Thank you all.
I'm sure he will be at our very first live show. So if you want to
love
come
it.
out and meet Tyler, maybe we'll have some merch out hopefully around that time. And you can buy
Yep.
some Louisville Bourbon Buzz merch.
Hell yeah. And some
stuff like
Firkin
that.
merch.
That's right. The Firkin merch is coming, baby.
That's
Yep.
right.
Hey, Brian, close us out. Let's do it.
Yeah, fuck you, Zach Hamilton.
All right, that's it.
Done.
Hey,
Mic dropped.
thanks, Tyler. Thanks to the listeners for tuning in. Find us on YouTube at youtube.com/@FirkinPodcast. Questions or comments can be sent to mailbag@FirkinPodcast.com. Visit our Patreon to become a founding member at patreon.com/FirkinPodcast. Subscribe and rate us on your podcast platform of choice, and make sure to share it with a friend. Until next time, let's raise a glass to the stories behind the drinks. Cheers, fellas.
If you're here 3 hours later,
What
we
happened to this
appreciate
tiny
you.
glass?
Brian, there's never any whiskey in our glass when we're done.
Oh my God.